markings on the trees that seem to be siphoning the magic from them.
Hi.
So
That
that might be how they're getting
makes
it.
sense. That makes a lot of sense. But putting it into something like a rat ogre, well, you might be looking for an undercity or perhaps a very large outpost with machines in it.
Yep, but I'll have to. Actually, I will be right back. I'm going to go tally the results of the poll, and that way
Oh,
we will, that
We will
That
know
way.
who we forge war with.
Yeah.
To battle.
Believe I'm gonna get myself a drink.
Oh, I
I'm not
can.
hard to get a hold of. If you need me in this, if you need my help in whatever
right,
this
that
is
never
going
mind.
on, let me
That
know.
didn't happen. You didn't see that. One second. One second.
okay.
There we go.
Hi, Peep.
Oh, let's see here.
Hi.
Got the menu of fire there.
Bourbon will be fine.
Here you go.
Thank you.
He was the bourbon. That'll be about 5 copper or just like 5 credits.
Thankfully for me, I carry a wide array of coinage on me, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I know. And most people use credits, so we do have a conversion thing over there for how much.
Skaven, nasty in numbers,
When you're
but
used
what
to
makes them really
traveling from
dangerous
port to
is their
port,
machines.
trading with all
I
manner
don't
of folks
really
from many
know
different
anything about
countries, you
gnolls,
get used
though.
to being,
A lot of what's...
well,
I'm painfully
flexible with
aware
your
of
money
gnolls.
toting.
Yeah, same. They... They're a bit similar to Skaven, though, like,
I'm a
less in number and
shipbreaker. I do a
bigger
lot of,
and stronger.
salvage
Very much so.
operations in deep sea settings.
Well,
Oh,
it
lovely.
appears that the
Essentially,
the people have spoken.
corporation,
We're going to
organization,
focus
doesn't
on the
matter
gnoll
what,
front
ship,
first.
group,
Mm.
whatever.
Free those
Lost
dwarves.
the
Maybe
ship
they
at
may have.
sea, they needed
I'm
salvage,
sure you
they
can agree that
called
dwarves
me.
make quite
What do
good
they call
allies, don't ya?
Hawks ship salvage.
Ah, fuck him.
I think he's a little bit biased, but yeah.
He might,
Ah,
but
fuck
they are
him. What good for nothing
reliable.
little squad.
We drove the deep sea habitat nearby the wreck. We mapped
Yeah.
everything out.
But it is we have
We
the
get
possibility of a
everybody
threat
pressurized,
compared to the
comfortable,
real concrete
and then
danger
we
that the
start sending
you
divers
know,
down to
hostages are in. So
the
I
habitat
agree
itself.
with this sort of decision.
We don't know how much time
You
they
have to
have
stick
left
with what you
either.
know.
Start piecing apart the wreck.
Or
We
what
have
they're
no idea
doing with
why
them.
they have them.
It's
It's
all
not
the
really in the
corporations
Knoll's
want.
style to kidnap.
All the
Yeah.
corporations
No,
actually want is the
if you-
steel and metal that makes
that's
up
a bit
the
of a
ship and
stretch,
the
never
shipping
mind.
containers. They don't give a shit about what's on it.
Well,
Well, so
if they
Knolls.
abducted a...
Oh.
Go
So
ahead,
I
sorry. If they abducted a forge
keep all
master,
the other salvage,
there's
sell it.
stands to reason they want him to make something.
I found
What it
everything
is,
from shipping
well, it
manifests
could be,
to
you might be able to
lost
learn,
technology that nobody's
well,
seen in
much
hundreds of
if you
years,
rescue
to
them. And
rare
we
vehicles
don't
kept
really
in
want
hermetically sealed
dwarven
containment
weapons,
units.
especially good ones, in the hands
Gold,
of what you have
silver,
just described to me.
iron ore.
Yeah. And once again, having the dwarves, this would grant us
Hell,
immense
I
amount
found
of
an
favor
entire
with the
wreck of
dwarves
a
that
crude oil
the
tanker.
dwarves to the north,
tanks
which
are still
will
solid, hadn't drained.
will be very useful.
I cut up pieces of the tanker
Well-
that weren't holding the oil in, and then I took the tanker
But
itself, loaded
when
it
it comes
to the
to-
surface and sold
Go
the
ahead, sweetheart, I
crude.
keep interrupting you.
No, you're fine. I'm just thinking the gnolls worry me because I know more about gnolls than
Keep in mind that
Skaven,
any
and what
credits, any money
scares
that
me.
I actually
They
make usually
are
gets
demonic
burned
in
on
nature.
maintaining the ship
They
and paying the employees.
Lovely.
Mhm.
and if they're
Running a
combining,
dive
if we already
operation is not a cheap
I'm already very painfully
The insurance
acquainted
alone could
with
bankrupt
their
most
leader.
people.
They
Oh.
were the gnoll that was. They were the gnoll that took over Carvenspire.
Oh.
So
Carvenspire?
Mhm.
long time ago, when
Good
Carven
shit.
was on the
I
run
love
from some
dwarven
dragon
ale.
hunters,
Never fails to be good.
while the Carven was dealing with the dragon hunters,
what you
gnolls
like
swooped in
about,
and stole his home.
Say what you like
Yeah.
about
That
elves
fucking sucks.
and
Yeah,
deep
and
sea
if
folk, but we can't make beer.
he's managed to rally an
and ale like
army,
they
that's
can.
not exactly great for us.
Oh.
Yeah, popular.
Dare I ask?
You ever had dwarven butterbeer?
Jesus, I don't have much info on her,
Best
but their
shit
leader
you
is
ever had,
very
Wonderful.
large.
surprisingly.
They have some sort of
I prefer
enchanted
teal, but most people
mace,
get it
and
warm.
they use a quindent.
Oops.
Very strong. Very. It's not. It's
So-
unfortunately it's not. It's hard to really state the
Named
danger.
Sean, you are.
They don't have. Oh,
with
this.
me as
They're just
Dr. Alex.
mean sons of bitches. They're enhanced by their demon lord god that they worship.
Oh, those are the
And it
gnolls.
seems-
I thought you were
The
saying
gnolls, yeah.
Carven had an army. I didn't
No,
expect.
Carvin does not have an army. No, no, no,
No.
no, no.
I would leave. I would leave you to your own devices. I would leave and cry in a
No,
corner.
Calvin does not have an army. An army of
Not
children,
Calvin.
maybe, but not an army. There we go.
Fuck.
Says a lot
my
about the man.
Eh,
He's a funny guy,
Not a bad.
literally. At any rate, you know, I remember. Maybe I'll have to talk to him about it if I see him again. But do you have any idea where they took the hostages?
no.
I remember him telling, and I remember, if I'm right, I believe he spoke of his home being an old dwarven keep.
Mhm. Yeah, it is.
Well, so Carvin Spire is in the material plane. The knoll from Carvin Spire seems to have made some sort of alliance with the bandits and have now set up shop in the Feywilds. So I don't believe there's a lot of correlation between the two, but it's a hell of a coincidence.
The keep is very, very old. It's been there for a very long time. I don't think it really has anything to do with it.
I have no idea. I'm just pissing in the wind.
A little bit more spice. That's what we need. A little bit of spice to warm our bellies in the
Not really sure why it was
But-
abandoned, even.
cool winter.
Well, sometimes it just happens. Perhaps there was plague rolled through. People decided to leave, looking for work in larger holds,
Mhm.
or perhaps there's never any number of reasons. There are countless dwarf
Maybe the mine dried up.
that lay empties.
Well,
That's also a possibility.
I've
I
heard,
think I
I've
heard-
stories of keeps cleared out by they hit a bad
what's his name?
hit a bad pockets of
Ostrava?
underground gas, and it sort of still wipes the whole place.
I
happens
certainly
a
hope
lot.
it's not that because I kind of am one of the people that lives there.
No,
shit.
no, no. It's probably any trapped underground gas probably had escaped at this point.
I
If
guess.
that was the case. There's also, I mean, I've
There
heard
is-
stories of dwarves digging too deep. They dig straight into the Underdark, and, well,
I really hope
those
it's not
dwarves are
that.
no longer around.
Oh,
wants soup?
I almost forgot.
Sure.
I
Sounds
mean,
I'll get you all. I'll get...
there is
Free soup, warm your
They
belly.
want food. It's like asking if a dwarf
There is
wants
running water.
I'll get the rock top out.
There is running water in the ruins. So I don't know. Maybe it was a flood.
An underground flood seems unlikely.
Well, they could have hit a groundwater pocket.
Maybe.
Are you still talking about these gnolls? I don't think I've ever met the
No,
guy
just
before.
the dwarven ruins in Carven Spire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're just theorizing. Okay.
Yeah.
Who else wanted soup?
I like
That
some
was
too.
my
Soup's
favorite
out for
stone
whoever
man.
wants it.
Ah, hello.
Give me a hug, you stony bastard. Oh, I almost forgot. Do you eat candy?
If it's like
Thank you.
rock
It's rock
solid and like
candy.
the soft, yes.
Look, no.
I have rock candy.
Can I have some?
That's why I mentioned it.
Yes.
Here you go, laddie.
Don't spoil
Sorry.
don't
Kinda
spoil
hard to
your
move the table.
lunch. Don't spoil your lunch. Eat the rock
Yes.
candy after your rock soup.
Yes, Mom.
Oh, the rock tumbler. Yes.
Get the tumbler. Let me get the rock tumbler. Okay. Do you have any rocks you want to put into it, or
No.
some sunstone?
What's in my
to it if
bag
you want.
here? Oh, yes.
I was kind of relieved.
Just move past the tail,
I
don't
both
worry, you're fine.
crawled
Here's some
through a
coal as well.
normal hole and a escaping hole. And I don't know
It
Frank,
which
gets
one.
you
in
wanna-
my
you
way.
wanna-
You don't. You're
you
not
wanna paint the
bothering
rock
me.
tumbler?
Don't worry.
I got you.
Hold on.
Both equally sound pretty terrible.
One of
They
these for me,
smell
When you've
horrible.
lived with a 30 to 80 foot long tail
What'd you say,
your
Evelin?
entire life,
Or one of these
you
for me?
kind of get used to it
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
sick of it
I'm
at the
just
same
setting them
time.
out if you want to take one.
I
Yeah.
They
understand
both
that.
smell like
Thank
pure
you.
shit.
I could imagine. Oh,
Yeah.
That's the seat. Oh.
Thank you, ma'am.
oh, where'd...
It's right under you. It's under the seat. Yeah.
Oh! My bad. I had to
I think
break
it's
through.
You're good. You're good.
Let me just
Which of these damn bags did I put the toothpick in?
Yeah. rock soup.
I still remember when I still thought it was a leftover bandit, so we went to we went to a farm of wheat.
Rock tumbler. We have gotten immense
And
value
then
out of that rock
out of
tumbler.
nowhere, out of
Yeah.
the wheat fields,
Yeah.
you see a big rat.
I'm
head
immense
pop
value.
out.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I don't think there's been anyone that isn't related to you that's gotten value out of it. I'm sure. If Crag is around. We haven't seen him in forever.
I haven't seen him in a while either.
If he's around, I'm sure you know.
One
How-
thing
how
I
do you
hate
say-
about
I'm sure
having
he'll
3
get value
rows
out
of
of it.
razor sharp teeth, cleaning them is a bitch.
Oh yeah, it's hard to clean my teeth sometimes too.
Then there's the fact of sometimes I find a loose one and I have to cough it out before I swallow it by accident.
Oh, don't really get that
ouch.
problem. Mammal don't really have teeth that grow back.
Excuse me.
Let's see if I were to gather how many teeth I've lost over the last 500 years, I'd say about well over 1,000.
You said 500?
Yep.
Wow.
Jesus, I can't even imagine. Ugh.
I've worked for most of it, so I don't really keep track of the time too well outside of work.
Understood. Hell, I'm 28 years old and I already feel old. Guess that's way out of the purview.
I still need to figure out how old I am.
I
Oh,
work in a deep sea salvage operation, so
I'll be
it's near
10
constant work.
in like a month.
Oh! Wait, when's your birthday?
Sounds like it.
That and will
25th
maintain
February.
a trade with all the
Oh,
seagoing folk.
okay.
I have 2 digits to my
That
name.
is a side gig.
Yeah, that's a big milestone.
Helps when you know where most everybody
Hell
is.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
I was probably one of the first people to explain to humans why the sirens keep doing what they do. If you stop putting your damn boat
Why sirens?
above where they live, turns out they stop trying to kill you.
Well, you must have kinda sirens in here. The sirens here, they just kind of kill for the fun of it.
That's a damn shame. The ones I've come across are a lot more friendly than that.
There's a concept that I think more people. I mean, it gets a bit skewed when you live in the metaverse, but when I
Yeah.
subscribe it's harder and harder to subscribe by that ideology, but there are just certain types of creatures that are nothing but evil.
And it also depends on where you go, honestly.
Well, at least here, and I am, well, okay, it gets a bit skewed. I am native to this dimension, I guess, is the best way to put it, but not this plane. This is an alternate plane within the same, sphere of, it's the same.
I know what you're getting at.
It's not like metaverse, like, oh, I'm in Zafira now. It's like
It's a
before
different plane of existence within the same universe. I get it.
Yeah, I hate thinking about all that. It's bogged my brain a little bit, but
Yeah.
When you're a deep one, I hate to say it, but you get the gist of all this madness at the end of the day.
yeah, it's just I've been here for a while. But yeah, I'm a native to this realm. Was born on the material plane, so I'm familiar with a lot of the monsters and different beasties that are here. There are certain monsters that look human for the purpose of capturing prey.
Changelings?
Not changelings, no. Just I'm not speaking of any specific fact. I'm not speaking of any specific monster. I'm just more as a whole. Like how mimics have evolved to, like how they mimic treasure and other goodies to lure in adventurers. That's what sirens and harpies do. They look humanoid and make it harder for people to kill them. They use that, they take their prey.
Yeah.
Sad truth, but
I find
I wouldn't even know what you'd call me. I've been called everything between a fish chimera, a leviathan, swamp creature. I've given up on titles. I'm just a fish.
I find it
Well,
a bit hard
it's-
to truly believe that, like, in that sort of belief, because I
it is.
was
hard
a
to
creature
believe,
that
yeah.
was seen as evil.
Well, I actually don't know your origins. Like, were you just like?
Beasts can. Well, a lot of beasts can come, or they're transformed from monsters. Like things like sirens, harpies, and
Well,
I've even heard of Shoggoths.
That's why it's hard. It's hard to live by.
Yeah.
It's hard to live by that ideology when you are in this metaverse, because where you're from, it's not quite accurate. I've not heard of any sirens from the material plane. That I've never heard any stories of any good.
Well,
They
it's
mimic
kinda,
people's.
It's kind of just not right to really say that any species is inherently evil. I mean, it would be like calling a wild pack of wolves evil for eating someone because they have to survive. If that's what the wolves
Yes,
dealt
and-
them, then the only reason why your species would have been considered evil in any way is because to some other faction, they might have been a food source. They were trying to survive. They weren't inherently evil. It's just they were trying to live, and that's the cards they were dealt.
Yes and no. I don't know how familiar you said you're from Zephyra, so I don't know how familiar you are with devils and demons.
I've been taking a lot of
They-
time to learn and read. Creatures that are born of sin and things of that nature.
Market district.
What
Oh,
I was gonna
yeah.
say, I reckon they know
Oh
a fair
yes, I
bit.
forgot
Yeah.
about that incident. I completely forgot that tragedy.
Well, there's also a lot of demons and devils that are from Zephyra, but one of the things that a lot of them had actually taught me was the fact that every sin has its own positive trait. For instance, pride. It's respectable to have pride in your work, but there's also such a thing as delving too deep into that pride and becoming self-absorbed by it.
Well,
I've learned
so-
over time that inherently I don't believe any species is just evil. I think we all have some choice to make. The unfortunate side is that some creatures are put into positions where they feel like they're not given that choice.
I've seen many of. I've had many a story of. I try to believe in the best in most creatures, right? Especially in the metaverse. Anyone can be anything. Hell, I've got quite a good friends that are fiends, but there's quite a lot of. I believe that there are certain creatures that, if they are left completely to their own devices, they will be evil. And the fiends
Steven.
that have overcome that, are not. They've overcome their evil
Small
nature,
cupcake.
which is commendable.
It's
So,
The exception, not the rule, is what you're saying.
yeah, they call,
there was a
yeah.
there was a town. There was a town that it was quite early on in my it was right after I had taken my right after I had taken my sort of completed my training, and I was just beginning my journey as a cleric. I had sort of went out into the land to spread hope, whatnot, deal with incidents.
Hi,
And
Cupcake.
Help.
there was a town that
Make it good.
had been I had heard that had been ravaged by a devil. Apparently, I learned the story from one of the survivors. They had been a child. This town had taken in a child, and they raised it for quite a few years. There's always been odd, strange things about them, but I mean, there's odd happenings. There's odd children everywhere in my home. It's quite common, let's put it. My home seems to breed adventurers, so everyone just thought that's what the case was. But there had come a point where
I have news for
the child,
A bit later.
the child had started to grow more sadistic. There were pets in the town left skinned in the street. the children had gone missing. And slowly these incidents had gotten more numerous and worse. So eventually, this child's demonic heritage had peeked through. And well, there weren't a lot of survivors. That town was quite a grim sight when I got there. Let's put it that way. And this wasn't out of any need. There was no need. The child was fed. None of the bodies were even eaten by, at least not by, they were eaten by the wildlife more than anything, but this was purely just a act of its nature. I'm not saying it's impossible for these things to overcome their nature, but it is their nature nonetheless.
See, but I feel like that inherently is part of the problem. There's a belief that these things are just forever made to be evil, but there are things that were basically screwed them from the start. Demons and devils, right? We look at them as if they are the epitome of sin, and to a degree they are. Everything that I've read has stated that they are inherently just evil. In fact, I have a harder time finding books that says otherwise than I do than finding ones that don't. But it's a worried tale that kind of makes me think of where I came from. Full of gangsters and thieves. People who from the start are just not really given a chance. But I've also read the devils and stuff, they come from angels. You know, ones up above that then were brought down below, and that wasn't their fault. Technically, they still are angels in their own cursed way, I suppose. But that was because of the environment. That was because of great people before them who decided to screw them over. I get that some people are too far gone, and I get that some species, at the end of the day, we're just gonna fight to the end of days. Skaven's a great example. But
No.
I refuse to think that a creature and species is just evil. It goes against what I've kind of believed.
I think it's like a case of like.
Do we mention colored dragons?
Well, even then, if it's a case of like their nature or like some other influence causing them to do, like influencing them to do bad things, I don't know if that's necessarily evil, because evil's like a choice, you know?
Because soldier follows
Like-
orders type situation.
Yeah, but evil, good, it's a choice you make. Like, it's still like a bad thing
suppose
that they're
it's-
doing, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know if it would really, if evil would be a great way to describe it. Destructive, sure. Dangerous. But I don't know about evil.
When a creature does an act that puts others at detriment without any gain of its own, that is objectively evil in my eyes. And that is what a
Question,
lot
then.
of these devils and demons do.
Are you performing an evil action if you don't know that there's another way? If I train you from day one and shove into your mind 1,000 ways to murder a man and never teach you how to help a man, are you evil?
Alex.
I would say that you would be evil, but you can overcome it given the
Oh, fucks.
right circumstances.
But how do you know? It's kind of like I read in another book that apparently a lot of babies who die, they're forever stuck in limbo
Do you think you can pull some arrowheads out my back?
because they never had the chance to make a good or bad choice. But the more that I read these, the more I just got confused because if I train you to do nothing but the bad option and never teach you how to be good, how can I call you evil? Because in your eyes, you're doing the right thing. So I guess who are we to judge?
Yes, that's a very interesting, sir. The canticle of this grey of morality. To avoid going on a long-winded theological rant, I will chime in and say I believe that you're both right in your own way. Because I never, unless they are completely off their rocker, I've never known somebody who gets into these discussions to be entirely wrong, unless they don't care to put any thought into it. But in my opinion, if that's what we are speaking of, I think there are lots evil, in my opinion, true, unmandated, pure, devolved, sadistic tolerance, I believe, is far more rare than people give it credit for. And there are so many people, so many creatures, things that are just misguided.
I see what you mean though, and I don't think you're wrong or incorrect. I guess just well, not till about a year ago did I know there was anything past giant metal walls for my home, and I guess now that I have the chance to, I guess, see otherwise, I want to try to hope that things aren't as monstrous as they first seem. I mean, I went from being a very bad person to at least what I like to think is a pretty decent dad. And I don't know, it was tough, and I get it. It's why, like, whenever I see someone who's struggling to be good, God, to break your mind out of those shackles, it's nightmarish. So I don't know, an optimistic mind, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it gets these types of discussions are complicated, and especially when you throw into the mix of the metaverse where nothing is consistent ever. It gets complicated.
I spent so long thinking, oh, devils and fiends of any kind were evil and not to be trusted. And, well, one of the first people I got acquaintance with was one. So...
Where they... Oh, they're not here. I thought they were here earlier.
No.
Oh.
No.
I am friends with a rock.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm also friends with the rock.
The concepts, even if somebody is doing it unknowingly, it's simply just not with, if there is someone who has been tainted, let's put it, and they do not know that they are committing evil, like this situation where they've grown up knowing nothing but evil, not knowing it is bad. If it is a choice between ending that one misguided evil to save a definitive good, someone who is doing good, it's a choice that I make without hesitation. Preserving the light that is there. You preserve the light that is there before trying to make more. And if it's a situation where it's one evil individual and they're not causing harm, or they're in a situation where I can mitigate the harm they can cause, then obviously
I will try and rehabilitate them, show them the path of good. But it's just the sad, unfortunate that it adds more good to snuff out misguided evil.
Yeah, I understand that. It's just like I guess it's like a little thing of semantics, I guess. I think my point is just even if something's evil by nature, it doesn't mean that they can't like overcome that. And you don't exactly need to like go out of your way to rehabilitate them. No. But like if they make it clear that they want to do something different, then I feel like they should be given some chance.
Oh, of course, of course.
Hi, hi Lazagos.
Oh, no, sorry.
Hello.
Truly means to be good or evil, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, the only thing that kind of inspired me to kind of like start looking into it as much as I have was I found this dusty old tome. It's got like 2 hands and some like red lining on it. I don't really know what it is, but it talks about like a crying god, something like that. But it talks a lot
You got one
about.
of the best people to identify it here.
I'm sorry. What?
John Librarian over here. So
My name is Lazagos. Thank you very much.
I know.
Hi, John Librarian.
I'm giving you some grief.
John Librarian.
I hate you.
Yes.
Marrow here.
Yeah.
Marrow here. Tell him to go away.
Oh, you didn't know I could do that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know
love
that.
that.
Carmen
For
teaching
some
me.
reason, I thought.
Yeah.
I thought Marrow was here.
Can you
Okay.
I can make a lot of noises.
Crying god? Excuse me, no.
Yeah.
It's about Abe crying.
Have you
God, yeah.
read through it? At all?
Yeah, I've been reading through a little bit of it. A lot about self-sacrifice. It's got a prayer in here. Il Mater. I don't know who that is exactly.
Yes,
I think it's.
Il Mater, the
Oh, I've heard of that
crying
one.
god, the one who endures. Ilmater is a part of. I don't know if it's the same where you are from. I'm not going to make any broad claims that, oh, this is the way it works everywhere, but from where I am from Faerun, the Faerunian pantheon, Ilmater is. Forget what his domain. He opens his doors to all. He is a god of not retribution, of forgiveness, of rehabilitation, of his people, the churches around Faerun, they open their doors to all that are in need, no matter what they are. I'm not going to. I don't know everything, obviously. But I'm familiar with Elmata. I'm familiar with most of the Faerunian pantheon. Sort of in the job
Back.
description of being the only cleric.
What the fuck was that sound?
But once that is the case, I
I didn't even know what that
think
sound
hearing
was.
it from a paladin is
I wouldn't have a
better.
clue.
I'm not a paladin. I'm a cleric.
Oh,
We
it's,
are
it
similar.
was probably you then.
There are some very key differences.
I have.
Hey.
How we do things. So I think hearing it from a paladin themselves is
Hi.
It'd be nice if I could just talk to the big man himself, but something tells me that's not going to be an option.
Ilmater, so
Yeah, we have the address to the
There-
guy. Don't worry, just knock on his door.
talking to gods is
Say
very
hi.
rare. It is. Oh, it is.
He's a ghost.
People here have mentioned talking to my god before.
I have a new
Um,
book for
my
you
god is a
again to
very
put in
minor
your
god.
library.
This one's more on clowning than
She is
his
a very
general
fledgling god,
jokes and,
and I am
humor.
kind of her
It's the
direct, like,
specifics.
champion. So that's an exception more than when you go
So,
into these
get
big
your
churches
arms out
like
this,
Ilmater.
so you can catch the
Ilmater
book
has
I'm going to put in your hands.
hundreds
If
and
you extend
thousands of
my
followers
arms,
across the plains.
Falls on feet.
It is hard to get a direct audience with them.
Ow!
As well as, again, the barrier of AO. AO tries to limit the intervention of gods, so
Listen. A broken clock is at least correct twice
it gets
a day.
very hard.
Don't blame me for missing. It's just
Okay.
things I get right.
Very,
But-
very interesting choice.
It's
This
hard to have
paladin
depth
that I
perception when you
will-
have
this
no
paladin,
eyes.
They have.
You just perceive
That's
things
me.
around
They probably know the
I
teachings
do.
and the ways of Ilmater, second only to
Yes, I'm perceiving you
God
right
himself,
now. I'm perceiving
so-
you.
Well, it sounded maybe.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
You're being perceived right now, young man.
That's true.
Okay,
But
thank you. I'll,
If I'm perceiving you,
I'll make sure to get everything finalized.
overwhelming magical ability.
No, you're not.
Well, I'm good.
lighter, I mean, I guess not lighter topic, change of topic. I am going to be setting, I was mentioning this before, there has been a sort of, coalescing. The fiends in Avernus, I'm pretty sure it is the demons this time, have been, gathering a sizable force, that usually only happens when there's a notable, stronger demon. They're just
Oh
mindless
boy.
and they kind of. So, I'm going to go to Avernus real quick. I'm going to, let's say, clean the playing field a little bit. And get their
You're
attention.
sending
So-
us back to hell.
if any who are willing, I am going, and this isn't a guild members only thing, by the way. I'm just to state, I don't really. No one is going to know. I'm going to be real. If we're in Avernus, I'm basically the only.
What happens in Avernus stays in Avernus.
My finger's not working.
I am
Uh,
I might have accidentally counterspelled your fingers, Mary.
What is going on?
Maro,
I'm going
remember,
to.
think about it.
So I am going to
What the fuck?
clear some things out. Pretty much, if you see a demonic portal open up, that's probably because of me. And any who are willing to help with this, just, go through it. It'll probably take me, it'll take me a little bit. I gotta put on my armor and then
I'm
kill a bunch
not
of demons.
going to
so
Avernus.
it won't be immediately.
It's very casually.
I have been doing this for like
this
half
is
a year
what
at
Ava
this
does.
point.
I'm gonna be real honest with you, man.